The unthinkable has happened. Australia, hosts of the 2027 Rugby World Cup, have officially lost their Band 1 seeding for their own tournament.
Mate, this is an absolute disaster. Minus 1.61 ranking points. The worst European tour in 67 years.
We'll break it all down, but first, welcome to Rugby Rundown. I'm Gavin.
And I'm Adrian. And frankly, after what we've just witnessed in this Autumn Nations series, the rugby world has been turned upside down.
Right, let's dive straight into the numbers because they tell a brutal story. England gained 1.45 ranking points, jumping from 5th to 3rd in the world.
Yeah, and what a statement win against New Zealand that was.
But here's what really matters for December 3rd when the World Cup draw happens. We now have our Band 1 seeds locked in. South Africa, New Zealand, England, Ireland, France, and Argentina.
Right?
And that means Australia, Scotland, Fiji, Italy, Georgia, and Wales are all in Band 2. Pool of death territory.
Gavin, I have to disagree with you on England, though. Yes, the numbers look good, but I'm not buying into this Borthwick blueprint just yet. Remember 2012? Remember 2019? Flash-in-the-pan victories followed by immediate slumps.
But this feels different, Adrian. Look at the pattern. They're now on a 10-game winning streak. The tactical discipline against New Zealand. Those two drop goals from George Ford were masterclass game management. After going 12-0 down in the first quarter, they didn't panic. The forward pack was described as monstrous, and the scrum became increasingly one-sided.
Okay, I'll give you that. The forward dominance was impressive. But let's talk about the real story here. What happened to Scotland? Because that Murrayfield collapse against Argentina was one of the most spectacular self-destructions I've ever witnessed.
Absolutely brutal, leading 21-0 after 50 minutes, cruising to what should have been a Band 1 seeding.
And then came that mad minute. Finn Russell's reckless long pass gets intercepted, yellow card for Blair Kinghorn, and suddenly it's 5 unanswered Argentine tries in the final 24 minutes.
That's exactly right.
The Scottish fans were booing their own team off the field. Captain Sione Tuipulotu said it himself. "We deserve to cop it. That's not good enough." This wasn't just a loss, Gavin. This was a complete mental collapse.
The consequence is devastating. Scotland has condemned itself to a pool of death in 2027 through pure mental fragility. But let's give credit where it's due. Argentina was sensational in that comeback.
Oh, absolutely. Felipe Contepomi's bench, orchestrated by Santi Carreras, was stunning. But Gavin, this is what separates the top teams from the pretenders.
Exactly.
Argentina didn't just win that match, they stole a Band 1 seeding from Scotland in their own stadium. That's championship mentality. Same thing we saw from South Africa when they were down to 14 men against France and still dominated.
That Springboks performance in Paris was terrifying for their rivals. After Lud de Jager's red card, France looked poised to capitalize with the man advantage, but South Africa executed a dramatic second-half takeover. That ruthless scrum dominance.
Yeah, exactly.
And the way they capitalized on Louis Biel-Biarri's sin bin was clinical. Andre Esterhuizen, Grant Williams, and Sasha Feinberg-Mengomazulu sealed that comeback. Plus 0.86 ranking points, and they're sitting pretty at 93.06 points as the clear number 1.
But here's what really gets me about the box. That depth rotation against Italy. Rassi Erasmus completely revamped the team and didn't even name a specialist hooker on the bench. That 6-2 split with Marco van Staden as emergency hooker? That's not arrogance. That's supreme confidence.
It's building toward a 36-man squad where everyone can perform at World Cup level. But Adrian, we have to talk about the biggest story, Australia's complete meltdown.
Oh, mate, this is where I get fired up. 25-7 to England, 26-19 to Italy, their first ever loss to the Azzurri, and then that record 46-19 hammering by Ireland.
The performances were worse than the results. Countless handling errors, sluggish attack, woeful line-out work.
Right, exactly.
And Joe Schmidt ruefully admitted that the standout Australian player against Ireland was Mac Hansen, the Canberra-born fullback who scored a hat-trick against his native country while wearing Irish colors.
That's the level of organizational and competitive humiliation we're talking about here. The hosts of the 2027 World Cup have lost their Band 1 seeding for their own tournament. Schmidt keeps asking fans to keep the faith, but what faith is left?
The World Cup implications are massive. Looking at the provisional draw bands, we're staring at some brutal pool of death scenarios. You could have Australia grouped with England and France. Scotland might face South Africa and Ireland.
And don't forget New Zealand's vulnerability. 2 massive losses, 26-13 to Ireland in Chicago, and that 33-19 defeat to England after leading 12-0. The aura is gone, Gavin. They've lost the power to strike fear in opponents' hearts.
Scott Robertson is under immense pressure. The team looks reactive rather than innovative, and they're chronically struggling in the third quarter. That 43-10 crushing by South Africa in Wellington earlier this year wasn't an anomaly. It was a pattern.
Exactly right. So let's make some predictions for 2027. I'm backing South Africa to three-peat. That ruthless depth and championship mentality under pressure is unmatched.
I think England could be the dark horse. If Borthwick can maintain this forward-based system and Ford's game management, they have the tactical discipline to go deep.
Argentina won't be satisfied with just making band one. They've proven they can win the big moments. That Scotland comeback shows they have the mental strength to surprise teams in Australia.
The teams with the most work to do before 2027. Australia faces a complete structural rebuild under Les Kiss. New Zealand needs tactical innovation and must solve those third-quarter collapses. Scotland requires pure psychological work to cure their mental fragility.
And Wales, despite saving their Band 2 seeding with that last-gasp penalty against Japan, looked truly awful. 7 minutes with a two-man advantage, and they didn't even threaten to score. Steve Tandy has the hardest job in World Rugby.
This Autumn Nations series has confirmed a new world order. The gap between the apex predators and everyone else has widened dramatically. December 3rd can't come soon enough.
Absolutely. The battle lines for Australia 2027 are now drawn, defined by cold, hard ranking points, not history or reputation.
That's all for today's Rugby Rundown. I'm Gavin.
And I'm Adrian. Keep following the rankings because every point matters on the road to Australia.